the tanks are there. You know they're not very fast. You know you're going to be able to catch them. Even if you send your Banshees from here, like right turret here, Cahrin actually anticipating this, I think, tried to send his tanks down here to keep them alive, although there was no harassment on the tanks going down. So 20 trying to move in, but Cahrin's been pretty diligent with these missile turrets. I like this play. Whenever you have Banshees and they've already got missile turret defenses, just doing, you know, as much harassment as you can, just picking off a supply depot here or there can really make the difference in a game. Cahrin just lost his main army in that fight, or the main army of Marines, so there's no real need for that supply right now, but it's 100 minerals. I like this play as well. 20 is going to go ahead and take this hidden expansion. The tanks really make it hard for you to take this expansion. You can have tanks planted here, you can have tanks planted inside this stuff, and it just makes it really hard for you to do that. This expansion here is really going to negate any tank play, especially when 20 can see that there's so many tanks on the field. Playing for air domination, which he's doing by double pumping Vikings and you know, and then Banshees out of a Tech Lab starport, it's going to be able to defend this really well. And Cahrin opting to land this command center over here and not really use it yet. It's just losing a little bit of focus there. I would like to see him actually put it here. When you have tanks, and especially when the opponent has an air force, you really want to keep your bases compacted as possible. He's really trying to sneak this right now is what it is. He's expecting 20 to not actually see it. And so that's a risk that you're going to take. I like the placement of this turret. It really discourages anyone from even scouting even further. If you see this turret and then you back up, you kind of assume there's turrets all over here. I really don't like these turrets. These are kind of unnecessary. I would like to see maybe one turret here and then a turret here and here, and that would be a really strong prevention of, you know, any kind of drops or Viking landings. So as we move into the mid game, we see Cahrin's got a Raven out. It's a good play against in the air battle. Ravens supplementing a Viking force can really make the difference. The Vikings actually have a pretty slow attack speed. It's 2 weapon speed, and each shot by the Viking gets blocked by the point defense drone. And so when you're in that air battle where in a matter of seconds your whole army will die due to the massive number of Vikings that each one of you has, those point defense drones can be crucial. Cahrin continuing to macro up these siege tanks. I don't know if this is the greatest play. I'd like to see him maybe go for a couple Thors. Thors eat through Banshees, especially when you have a Raven or two so they can't even cloak, and you're mass-producing Vikings so that your Raven's not going to get picked off immediately. Just Banshees are a light armored unit. You don't really see Thors go against Banshees that much, just because it's not typical for a player to mass up Banshees in the style. But it's actually a very good counter because Banshees can bunch up almost as much as Mutalisks can, and they're pretty much the same amount of health. So Thors are very strong against them. Siege tanks are going to allow Cahrin to have the absolute most ground control. It's like there's no question about it that any units on the ground are dead for 20, but he's not building any, so that's going to work out in his favor. One thing to note, let's look at the units. 20's on 2 bases, and he's only got 20 SCVs. Maybe he just wanted 20, because that's his name. But whenever you're on 2 bases, and you've got 4 gases, and you only have 20 SCVs, that means you have more guys devoted to gas than you do minerals, and that is bad. 100% bad. Not much else to say about that, especially when you're using your energy on supply drops rather than mules. So Cahrin's doing a pretty good job of trying to saturate the space. If you remember, he moved it over here without any workers with it. I think he just Maynarded some probes over with that medevac. Got a big siege tank Viking push that's probably going to be coming. This is really good from 20. If you're feeling strong in a game, just forget about it and start looking around the map. You never want to be too confident. That's the time whenever you realize, oh, he's on 3 bases instead of 1, and you're about to lose to a giant force. Oh, this is a big blunder. Dropping these Vikings here is just not a smart play because taking out that Raven, that's a little bit of bad control by Cahrin. It's going to allow all these Banshees to escape. Of course, these Vikings are going to die. What I would like to see is in that situation, take out that Raven, then land the Vikings. and you've got Cloak Banshees in the air and Vikings on the ground. And against Vikings, they can't do anything about it. If the Vikings want to take out the Vikings on the ground, they have to land, and in doing so, making themselves vulnerable to the Banshees. And Banshees will eat through anything on the ground, as I'm sure you're aware. Got a lot of medevacs here going for a little tank drop. This is a good play, especially with the immobility of the tanks. I think Cahrin was expecting to find an expansion here. Maybe not, just because he knew this expansion was here. Still haven't seen an orbital command here, and queuing up 4 SCVs here, never a good idea to queue more than 2 things. Because if you see his money is so low here, you know, that could be Vikings that he could be producing right now that he's not. So dropping these tanks right here is great. Cahrin's definitely isolated the one part of the base that's weak. Going to move in with these siege tanks. At the same time, though, 20 recognizing, I guess, that it's a good time to push out, has done a little counterattack of his own. He's really going to get in here. And nice throwing down to the point defense drone. I am not 100% certain if it works. Yes, it does work on missile turrets. That's a great idea. What he should be doing is using these Banshees to kill these missile turrets before this point defense drone runs out of energy. He needs to have a little bit better focus in decision-making on what he should be attacking here. Especially since he's still allowing Cahrin to mine here. That's going to be crucial, especially with Cahrin getting his 3rd base up. And so right now this base trade going off is really going to put Cahrin in an advantage, I think. All these Vikings, because the missile turrets are here, can take out those Banshees. And now there's only 4 Vikings here to the 6 Vikings of Cahrin. So this is just going to be quick slaughter. And he's losing a little bit of focus, not getting down that orbital command. So it looks like this game is probably over, although there's a fair amount of money in the bank. He's way supply blocked, 15 supply, but here comes the little suicidal drop with the medevacs. As long as he gets those units on the ground, there's nothing to defend against it. And so 20 should be throwing the GG any moment. Pretty good game. You can see the different styles from Cahrin versus Cahrin. A lot of Marines are good against Banshees if you have the cloak protection. A lot of tanks are good against anything. And there goes the GG. Thanks for joining me. I'll be casting more games from the group stages. I will be casting all of the games from the quarterfinals and on, and we are about 85–90% done with the group stages, so that should be coming up pretty soon. A lot of the group stage games were pretty bad with, you know, all in, like 2-gate, like proxy pyloning, stuff like that. So I decided to just do a select few games that I heard were pretty good. Little suicidal starport scouting, always fun to end a game. Alright, gonna speed this up. Thanks for joining me.